Have you ever stood in the middle of a storm, looked around, and realized no one's coming to save you? Ladies and gentlemen, let's strip away the illusions. Let's talk about a truth most are too afraid to facing. No one is your friend. Now don't misunderstand me. People smile, they laugh, they text back. They even toast to your success. But beneath the surface of every relationship lies an unspoken truthing. There is a moment in every person's life where the applause fades. The phone stops buzzing and the room grows quiet. It's in that silence that the truth hits hardest. No one is responsible for your life but you. Not your friends, not your parents, not your spouse, not your boss. When things fall apart, people might offer sympathy, but they will not and cannot carry the weight of your destiny. That responsibility belongs to you alone. Self-reliance isn't arrogance. It's not isolation or cold detachment. It's understanding at the core of your being that your life is in your hands, and no one else has the obligation or the ability to build it for you. It's knowing that no matter how many hands reach out to help, if you can't stand on your own legs, you'll fall again. People might lend support, but they're not your foundation. You are. You were born with a mind. Use it. You were born with instincts. Trust them. You were born with potential. Cultivate it. And understand this. Every single advantage you need is already within you, buried beneath doubt, fear, excuses, and dependency. Dig it out. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Stop waiting for the right moment. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you before you believe in yourself. Those are the habits of the powerless. Power begins the moment you accept that no one's coming. Not to rescue, not to motivate you, not to show you the way. It's on you to carve your own path. When you learn to depend on yourself, you stop being a victim of circumstance. You stop blaming. You stop expecting. You begin creating. Self-reliance means when everyone turns their back, you don't panic, you pivot. You arise. You become the type of person who doesn't just survive without help, but thrives because of it. The world respects individuals who respect themselves enough to take full command of their lives. You can either live in constant fear of losing support, or you can become so mentally and emotionally self-sufficient that you no longer need it. And here's the secret once you reach that level of independence. True support begins to show up, not because you need it, but because strength attracts strength. This is the foundation. Without self-reliance, everything else crumbles. Your goals, your vision, your relationships. All of it depends on your ability to stand on your own. And once you realize that, you stop looking for heroes. You become one. Every human interaction, whether it's a conversation over coffee or a business handshake, carries something unspoken beneath the surface, a purpose, a reason, an agenda. People rarely do things without motivation, even if it's unconscious. That doesn't make them bad. It makes them human. The truth is, people act in accordance with what benefits them, emotionally, financially, socially, or otherwise. It may be comfort, convenience, status, validation, security, or access, but there is always something they want. It's not cynicism to recognize this. It's clarity. It doesn't mean that people are incapable of love, loyalty, or sacrifice. But even those things are often fueled by some form of inner needing, the need to feel needed, the need to be loved back, the need to feel valuable, important, seen. And when that need is no longer met, when the value exchange is disrupted, many of those bonds dissolve. Suddenly, the person who used to check on you daily disappears. The one who once praised you now resents you. The one who needed you when they were weak forgets you when they become strong. Why? Because their agenda changed. When you understand that everyone, consciously or not, moves through life guided by what they want, you stop taking betrayal personally. You stop expecting fairness in a world driven by self-interest. You stop confusing smiles for sincerity. You begin to watch not just what people say, but why they're saying it. What are they hoping to gain? What are they afraid to lose? What version of themselves are they trying to present to you? This level of awareness doesn't mean you withdraw from people. It means you see them clearly. And when you see them clearly, you can protect yourself. You can make smarter decisions. You can stop handing over trust like candy to anyone who makes you feel good for a moment, because flattery is a tool. Empathy can be a mask. Generosity can be a hook. People will feed you words that sound beautiful to your ears, while planting seeds that serve their future needs. The danger isn't that people have agendas. The danger is when you pretend they don't, when you ignore the signs, when you dismiss your gut feeling, when you make excuses for behavior that clearly serves someone else's interest at your expense. That's when you get manipulated, used, and left confused. But once you stop looking at people through the lens of wishful thinking and start looking at them through the lens of patterns and motives, everything changes. You stop playing checkers in a world full of chess players. This isn't about becoming paranoid. It's about becoming prepared. It's about being conscious, not naive. It's about knowing that respect is not owed, it's earned. And so is trust. People will show you their true intentions not in their words, but in their consistency. Watch what they prioritize. Watch what they do when your value to them drops. That's when the real agenda reveals itself. Understanding this puts the power back in your hands. It allows you to stop being surprised when people change, because often they're not changing. They're just revealing the part of themselves that was hidden beneath the charm, waiting for the right moment to come to the surface. When you finally see that every person is playing their own game, and you stop pretending that they're here to play yours, that's when you start to win. Loyalty is not declared, it is exposed. Over time, through pressure, through discomfort, and through difficulty. In a world where everyone claims to be loyal, circumstances serve as the ultimate lie detector. Because when everything is going well, when the money flows, when the spotlight is bright, when the winds stack high, everyone wants to be around you. People will clap for you, praise you, align themselves with your name, and call you family. But none of that proves loyalty. That only proves convenience. True loyalty doesn't reveal itself in comfort. It reveals itself in chaos. When things fall apart, when you're no longer beneficial, when standing next to you no longer brings them gain. That's when you start to see who people really are. You lose a job, you take a hit to your reputation, you fall into a depression, you make a mistake, or you speak a hard truth that challenges the norm. And suddenly, when the mind starts thinning, the crowds slow down, the smiles disappear. The people who once swore they'd ride with you no matter what, quietly exit through the back door without saying goodbye. And it stings. Not because you lost them, but because you once believed them. You gave them a seat at your table, a place in your heart, and you mistook their presence during your rise as proof that they'd stand by you in your fall. But that's not how it works. Storms don't just test structures, they expose them. And in the same way, difficulty doesn't create loyalty or disloyalty, it simply reveals what was always there. People can only pretend for so long, when things get uncomfortable, when helping you comes at a cost, when your failure threatens their image, when your struggle demands sacrifice. That's when masks start slipping. That's when the energy changes. That's when the check-in messages stop. And in that silence, you gain the most valuable clarity of your life, because those who remain, those who lean in instead of pulling away, are rare. And they don't do it for attention. They do it quietly, without needing to be noticed. They do it not because it's easy, but because it's right. When the mind is deafened, that kind of loyalty cannot be bought. It's not loud. It doesn't need recognition. But it's unshakable. And you won't know who holds it until you're no longer easy to support. You'll know it when you're in the dark and someone lights a match. Not to save you, but to sit with you until you find your own flame again. The pain of losing people in hard times is real, but it's also a gift. Because it teaches you not to confuse proximity with loyalty or length of time with depth of connection. Some people are in your life simply because the conditions are favorable, like fair weather travelers on a smooth flight. But the moment turbulence hits, they reach for the nearest parachute, So let them go. Don't beg, don't chase. Don't argue. When adversity strips away the temporary, it makes space for the real. And one genuine, quiet alley in the storm is worth more than 100 loud ones in your sunshine. You don't need many. You just need truth. It is in those moments, stripped, exposed, alone, that you learn what kind of people you've been surrounded by. More importantly, you learn what kind of person you are. Because how you respond when loyalty breaks is just as important as who breaks it. Adversity doesn't just show you who others are. It shows you who you must become. Everyone you meet is driven by something. A motive, a need, a goal, a wound. Whether they're aware of it or not, they are operating with a personal agenda. Some agendas are obvious, others are subtle. Some are loud and transactional, while others are buried deep under layers of charm, flattery, and seemingly selfless behavior. But make no mistaking, no one moves through this life without wanting something, even if what they want is just a sense of control, comfort, or closeness. Sometimes, people want to be around you simply because you make them feel better about themselves. Not because they love you, not because they respect you, but because your presence validates their existence. Sometimes they support you because you haven't outgrown them yet, because you're still safe, still predictable, still small enough not to threaten their ego. The moment your growth makes them feel insecure or left behind, the warmth in their voice changes. The same ones who cheered for you start to critique you, gossip about you, or distance themselves, all because your success challenged their sense of identity. That's an agenda. Other times, people attach themselves to your energy, not your soul. They like how you make them feel. They like the resources, the attention, the access, the opportunities, the social capital that comes with knowing you. But the bond is shallow. If you stop giving, they stop showing up. If you stop serving their narrative, they rewrite yours. If you say no one too many times, you're suddenly different, difficult, or disloyal. They weren't in it for you. They were in it for what you did for them. And once that's gone, so are they. That's an agenda. Sometimes people don't even realize they're operating with self-interest. They're so conditioned to take, to expect, to move toward pleasure and away from discomfort, that they rationalize everything. They'll tell you they're helping you, but they're really helping themselves feel needed. They'll say they love you, but they're addicted to the version of you that caters to their wounds. They'll stay close to you when you're low because it makes them feel strong. They'll walk away when you rise because it makes them feel weak. Their care has terms. Their loyalty has expiration dates. That's an agenda. And when you start to see this clearly, not with bitterness, but with brutal honesty, you stop being surprised. You stop being manipulated. You stop putting people on pedestals they never earned. You stop handing out trust like candy to people who only showed you a mask. You start observing patterns instead of listening to promises. You stop asking, why would they do that to me? And start asking, what did they want that I stopped giving? This isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming conscious. When you understand that every human being operates from self-preservation, from a desire to feel significant, safe, or superior, you stop assuming purity in people just because they're nice. Niceness isn't loyalty. Compliments aren't commitment. Silence doesn't equal support. Loyalty is tested in tension, not comfort. And character is revealed not in how someone treats you when they want something, but how they treat you when they gain nothing. The reality is, even the closest relationships must be approached with eyes open. Trust must be earned continuously, not granted permanently. If you assume everyone's intentions are pure just because they're familiar, you blind yourself. But when you accept that everyone is playing a game, you learn how to play yours with clarity and strength. You learn how to give without being used, how to love without losing yourself, and how to stay kind without being naive. And the paradox is this: the more you see through people, the more powerfully you can connect with the right ones. The few who have integrity, who act with principle, not just preference. But you'll never find them by ignoring the truth. You find them by knowing exactly what most people are, and choosing better anyway. Not because you're paranoid, because you're awake. There's a dangerous lie many people carry through life, the belief that because they've been kind, loyal, giving, or present, others owe them friendship in return. That's simply because you showed up for someone, they should now show up for you. That because you've been there in their hard times, they are bound to be there in yours. That your effort automatically earns you a permanent place in someone's life. But the truth is far colder and far more liberating. Friendship is not owed. It is earned. You can pour your heart into people, give them your time, your energy, your advice, your money, even pieces of your peace, and they still may walk away without a second thought. Why? Because friendship is not a transaction. It's not a trade. You don't get loyalty just because you offered yours. You don't get honesty just because you spoke truth. People give what they want to give, not what you think you've earned. No one is under contract to love you back just because you were good to them. And that truth hurts, especially when you've spent years being the reliable one, the supporter, the helper. You think after everything I've done, how could they leave? How could they betray me? How could they be so cold? But the hard truth is that what you see as investment, they may see as expected. What you offer as love, they may receive as convenience. And when your usefulness fades, they might too. But here's the shift. Instead of clinging to the idea that others should appreciate you, should reciprocate, should stay, you must release the need for obligation. You must accept that real friendship isn't forced, it's proven. And it's proven over time, through consistency, through mutual effort, through alignment of values, not through grand gestures or emotional debt. Friendship is sacred, not casual, not automatic, is definite. Just because someone laughs with you doesn't mean they'd bleed for you. Just because they say, "I've got your back," doesn't mean they'll stand tall when you're being torn down. And just because they've known you for years doesn't mean they still care now. Longevity doesn't equal loyalty. Frequency doesn't equal depth. Familiarity doesn't equal bond. People are not obligated to remain in your life, and you are not obligated to keep them there. Holding on to dead friendships out of guilt, nostalgia, or fear of solitude only delays your growth. Let people earn their place, not with words, but with presence. Not with promises, but with patterns. Not by how they make you feel in your highs, but by how they treat you in your lows. You have the right to raise your standards. You have the right to stop giving endlessly to those who take without giving back. You have the right to stop rescuing people who never ask how you're doing. You have the right to outgrow friendships that no longer reflect your values, your peace, your vision. This doesn't mean you stop being kind. It means you stop being blind. It means you give, not to be needed, not to liked, not to be validated, but because you choose to. And if that kindness is returned, if that love is reflected back with action, integrity, and truth, then you found something real. But even then, you keep earning each other, every day, through respect, through honesty, through effort. Not once, not in the beginning, but always. Because friendship, real friendship, is not a gift you hand out for free. It's a space you protect, a bond you build, and a fire you feed. Not because someone deserves it by default, but because they've shown they're worthy of it over time. So what do I mean when I say, no one is your friend? I mean, don't count on anyone more than yourself. And when you do find those rare souls who stand with you, not just in your rise, but in your ruin, cherish them. But never depend on them, because strength starts the moment you realizing you were never alone. You just hadn't met the strongest version of yourself yet. Thank you.